just one gun, they'd be alive today. Just one gun.
Alex Kincaid. Welcome to the Gun Law Podcast. Last week, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued an opinion that has gun owners up in arms. And it centers around one simple question. What does our Second Amendment actually protect? We think it's pretty clear. It says shall not be infringed. Not really open to a whole lot of interpretation until you throw in our court system. That little phrase gets a lot of judges pretty confused. And what the Ninth Circuit said last week is very concerning for us as gun owners because it centers on whether we have the constitutional right to carry our firearms for self-protection outside of our own homes. The court looked at the history of the Second Amendment. It went back to the time of kings, and they determined that while our United States Supreme Court said in 2008 and then expanded that decision to hold the states to that same conclusion in 2010, that we, the gun owners, have a right to have a handgun in our own homes for self-defense purposes. The problem is that in those cases, and in particular in Justice Scalia's opinion, District of Columbia versus Heller, he wrote a little phrase that is now being used by the antis to restrict us in our ability to defend ourselves. And that little phrase says that, there may be some things that the law can restrict. We don't want felons to have guns. We don't want the mentally ill to have guns. Those rules, and also the licensing procedures that have to do with concealed carry, those are okay. But now, the antis are using that phrase as a sword to enact out-of-control gun control. And they're saying that, look, some restrictions are okay. We're still developing what the Second Amendment actually protects through the court system. And we don't think that states have to give you the ability to carry a concealed firearm outside of your own home. In the great state of California, where we know the gun control laws have been out of control for a very long time, we have a case where someone filed a lawsuit saying, I can't get a concealed carry permit. This violates my Second Amendment right. And then the governor of California instituted a law that said Californians can't even open carry a firearm. So essentially, the people who live in California right now can't open carry outside their own home unless they meet some very limited exceptions, like they're an on-duty police officer. And they can't get a concealed carry permit depending on what counties they live in, because a sheriff can say, I get to decide whether or not you should have the ability to carry a firearm outside your home. And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the busiest, largest, possibly the most liberal court in the country, that is the stepping stone right before the United States Supreme Court, said we don't have to give you, the people, the right to carry a firearm outside your own home. If the state of California and if certain sheriffs want to prevent you from being able to do that, that's okay, because we, the court, are deciding that the Second Amendment was never intended to protect your ability to defend yourself, to carry a firearm and defend yourself outside of your own home. This is extremely concerning because we're seeing more and more states across the country enact gun control that does absolutely nothing to prevent crime, and in fact, it invites crime, because the criminals know that we, the law-abiding citizens, are being prevented from defending ourselves, from taking the responsibility to defend ourselves. So we're watching and we're waiting as courts across the country decide these issues, whether we have the right to carry a concealed firearm, whether certain firearms can lawfully be banned. And we sit back and we know what the Second Amendment says. It is very plain. But the courts are deciding otherwise. One of the issues that has come up after this ruling last week is whether states like Idaho, where we have now passed a law that says that we can carry without a concealed carry permit, are affected. Well, the Ninth Circuit only covers a number of states. It's not the law of the land. It doesn't apply across the country. It does affect people in the state of Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, Alaska, Hawaii, some other territories and states. But you get the general idea. If you live in the Ninth Circuit's jurisdiction, the court has said that your state can pass a law that allows your sheriff to decide whether or not you get to have a concealed carry permit. In fact, they said your state can pass any law and any restriction on your right to carry a concealed firearm outside of your home. So, in Idaho, where we passed permitless carry this last session, we aren't affected. We are very blessed to live in this state versus the poor people in California. We are going to see a law go into effect on the 1st of July that says we don't have to ask our sheriff for permission. If we are law-abiding citizens, we have the right to carry a firearm, and we can do so. We can carry it concealed, we can carry it open, we can carry it in our home, we can carry it outside our home, and we can keep the criminals at bay. Unfortunately, not all states are like Idaho, and in some locations, like California, you may not have the ability to defend yourself and to keep and bear arms. So if your questions to me in my office are about permitless carry and how it's affected by the Ninth Circuit's ruling, don't worry, because in Idaho, permitless carry is still going into effect on the 1st of July. I hope you found this podcast useful. Please follow me, ask me questions, send questions to my office. We will take your questions to heart and try to do more podcasts in the future to help you understand the complex and nonsensical world of gun control.
Just one gun could have stopped the madman in his tracks. Just one gun, they'd be alive today. Just one gun.
This is an important message about your liberty.
So the notion that gun laws don't work, it's not borne out by the evidence.
We need universal background checks. We know that they will work. We need to...
Politicians continue to call for more gun control. Yet so many laws already exist, the American gun owner is often left confused about the legality of their own common everyday behaviors. Attorney and former prosecutor Alex Kincaid knows that too many responsible gun owners violate laws that they don't know even exist. And her goal is to stop that. Now get Kincaid's new book, Infringed. Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America says that Infringed should be on the shelf of every American gun owner. Infringed debuts November 25th, but pre-order today and receive an autographed hard copy edition at $5 off. Visit alexkincaidlaw.com now. That's alexkincaidlaw.com. Get Infringed. Get it today. alexkincaidlaw.com.